This is another sign of where I took inspiration from Rick Riordan's Sun and a Star. If you've read that book, then you probably know what I did. You probably could tell from the screen, but yeah. Welcome to another Hermitcraft Retribution episode. We are reading chapter 16. I don't know if we'll go to chapter 17. It just depends on how much time there is. This is a shorter chapter, I believe. But, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm just trying to figure out how to do this and how we go. And I just wanted to try a little bit of fun. Like I already did it with Sam's perspective, and now I'm doing it again with Scar. So, why not? Let's keep going. If you haven't read the other parts and you don't mind about spoilers, I mean, this one's not really spoilery, so you're probably fine. So you're probably fine. But, I mean, the others will be a bit spoilery, so, yeah. At least for this first half of the video, if I move on to 17, let's just get started. I'm rambling. Chapter 17. Flashback. Scar walked down the worn path he'd walked many times before, feeling the warmth of the sun peeking through the lush green leaves, clinging to the canopy of trees above him. The breeze was fresh and crisp. The YouTuber walked down the path, hearing the scuttling of small critters, and the occasional moan of a zombie deep in the forest. It didn't bother him, though. He had walked down this path many times before to go to town. The town he had created and built from the ground up. There weren't many people living in town, but that didn't matter to him. He was happy. Felt good. The trees thinned ahead, the path stretching wider as a clearing appeared. A small town with few houses and shops cuddled together. He walked closer to the town, seeing a familiar face come out of one of the houses. "Morning, Scar! How's everything been?" "Going pretty well, Cup." Scar gave the man a friendly wave. "Anything new in town?" "Not really," Cup said with a casual shrug. "We're having a meeting later today. Wanna come?" "What's it about?" Scar raised a curious eyebrow. "You're gonna have to stop by and find out," Cup teased with a chuckle. "Can't ruin the surprise. Does it have anything to do with our new visitor?" Scar pondered aloud, more to himself than to his friend. "Maybe," Cup said casually, almost sounding reluctant. "I know you really like this place, Scar, but the space isn't big enough for all of us and what we want to do." Scar nodded. "Do you think we should take him up on his offer?" "It's a call to adventure, Scar. Can't you feel it?" The man grinned, waving his hand off into the wilderness beyond. "New people to meet, new friends. It'd be so much fun." All right, I'll consider it," Scar mused. "So long as I can make something cool." "You won't regret it, Scar," Cup beamed, nudging him playfully. "Red and Iskell are already over the moon about this. This place is too small for our big ambitions." Scar laughed. "I'll see you at the meeting then, Cup." "Looking forward to it," Cup said with enthusiasm, skipping down the road toward one of the shops that he worked at. Scar couldn't help himself but smile. Sure, he absolutely loved this place, and would stay here forever if he could, but his friend was right. It was far too small for all the things he wanted to do, wanted to create. Their town was not huddled between a few others, far too cramped for 6 great minds. Minds exploding with creativity and ambition. He wanted to encourage that, having not seen much of it as of late in the neighboring towns. Most people were doing things they normally would, not striving to do new things or pursuing challenges. Scar loved the sense of adventure. Cup knew him well. All his friends did. If you do notice the number of 6 great minds, this is because I'm referencing when Scar and his buddies, some of the hermits, joined in season 5, season 4. You know, the main stuff. It's like, you know, I'm trying to remember at the top of my head, but like, if you go look back, like I did do my research and actually look to see what's in there to make sure I got everybody. I didn't name everybody, but yeah, you can actually go look and see. Like, if I did miss anything, you can let me know, but this was something interesting. Like, I mean, if you want to imagine that in the distance, there's like a mesa, hills, or in the distance. I mean, I didn't say it, but that would have been a cool description to put there. But alas, what is done is done. Scar was working on his base, taking a step back to admire his work. It had been a couple of years since he'd joined Exuma's small mission of creating something together. He'd met many friends along the way, some sticking around while others going off. Oh no! That sentence didn't go right. He'd met many friends along the way, some sticking around while others going off on their own adventures. Scar loved it here, out in the wild wilderness, vast wilderness around him, with the opportunity to expand and explore. He was no longer limited by regional regulations by other towns or villages. Of course, he had to be considerate of his neighbors, but that wasn't hard to do at all. Less legalistic as well. I quite enjoyed it. So the one who tried to become mayor. But yeah, the build towered over him, smiling up at what he'd built. There was something magical about this build, something special. His attention was redirected when he heard footsteps approaching. He turned, seeing his friend Exuma walking toward him with someone behind him. The young man was short, with mousy brown hair and dark eyes. He smiled shyly at Scar when their eyes met. "How's the build coming along?" Exuma asked cheerfully. "Pretty good," Scar nodded, giving his friend a friendly wave. "I wanted to introduce you to someone," Exuma said calmly, nodding over at the man beside him. "This is Grian. He came here this morning." "Nice to meet you, Grian." Scar beamed at the man. Would you like me to show you around? "Sure," Grian said nervously, glancing over at Exuma cautiously. He stepped away from the man when Exuma gave him an encouraging nod, following Scar to the base. "Still a work in progress, but it's coming along," Scar said with delay, showing the visitor the build with wide gesture. "Wow," Grian said softly in awe. "How long does it take to build?" "Oh, not too long," Scar chuckled, brushing the question aside with a hand. "It's been an ongoing project. I can't get enough of it." "Cool," Grian nodded, a smile forming on his face. "Can we be neighbors?" "Of course!" Grian agreed. "What?" "Of course!" Scar grinned happily. "I'd love to be your neighbor. And your friend. Whatever it is you need me to be. It wasn't long ago I was in the same position you were, trying to find my place in the world. I think I might have found it." Grian grinned up at the hermit. "Nice. Need some materials? I've got some stored over here if you can borrow." Scar gestured to his mess of chests. "Help yourself." "Thank you, Scar. I definitely will." Grian went over to the chests, opening one as he rummaged through. "You're the best." "Have you met anyone else yet today?" Scar asked curiously, leaning against the wall as Grian took out some wood and stone. "Someone named Mumbo. He's pretty cool." Grian nodded, a smile on his face. "He's great," Scar chuckled. "The rest owners around these parts are very good at what they do." "I know!" Grian's eyes widened. "I wouldn't know where to start with understanding how that worked." "That we can agree." Scar laughed. "Thanks again, Scar. I guess it'll be on my way now. And get out of your hair." So Grian stashed the last few things safely away in a pocket. "You can come by and visit me anytime." Scar nodded with a smile. "I will." Grian's dark eyes shone with excitement. "See you soon. Bye. Bye." Scar waved as the young man disappeared into the trees. He was already making his way in the world, making his mark as a hermit, one of many that were and were to come. He was glad he was able to be part of it for someone new. Yes, that's chapter 17. When Scar was finished, his eyes met with Eliza's, who had been listening intently to his story about the town he started with a few friends to find Exuma in his project to create something far bigger, providing space he and his friends had lacked. After he told him how he met Korean, after he told her, wrong pronoun, how he met Korean on that calm day, spending hours every day together, he smiled at it. Wrong pronoun again. She smiled at him when he was done, giving him a small nod. It's really sweet, she mused after a long moment of silence. Letting him borrow your stuff from you? Yeah, it ended up becoming a joke for us. Whenever we needed something, he'd always borrow it for someone else. Scar giggled. Technically not stealing if they don't notice their carrot is missing. Green, Mumbo, and I do it a lot together. I've let other hermits borrow from me as well. Plenty of occasions. Green really brought new life into our little project. Liza giggled. Are you sure all of this can be considered little anymore? She gestured to the room around them. Nah, I suppose not. A lot has changed over the years. He smiled, looking over at Green, who was sound asleep. At the time, he'd been living with other friends. He wanted to go off on his own to see what he could find. He found us and decided to stick around for a while. He eventually started missing his old friends, so we found a way to let him visit them. Then, well, he was followed back, and Mr. A found us. Leslie shuddered. That must have been terrifying. Yeah. Fortunately, Tango and Impulse took control of the situation and got us underground when the helicopter attacked. He chuckled. I didn't realize this at the time, but I suppose they had a run in it with something like it before. Mathene nodded. At least you all made it out safely. Green saved us. With help from Rose and Liam, Scar nodded, reminiscing. We bought him time to escape, but unfortunately we'd been captured. I guess the guys didn't think there would be any problems until Rose came knocking at the door. Lisa laughed. They saw they had something, didn't they? She was one step ahead. Once again, Scar mused. I guess that's why Campbell doesn't like her all that much. Nor Mr. A. It's not just her either. Her nephews can be a pain when they want to be. I heard, she grinned. The boys walked the whole way from the safe house where Mr. A was holding Stampy and Dan. The cause had left Stampy behind thanks to Gerald, but the boys put a stop to Mr. A's and RJ's plan. What was their plan, by the way? Scar raised an eyebrow. She shrugged. No one's elaborated on that part. Sam and Liam won't talk about it either. Whatever is the secret, I'm sure it's important enough to not share. I have to trust that. You're probably right. Scar nodded sheepishly. Just curious. If you don't know what it is, then you haven't read the first book or the first short stories. You don't know what it is. I wrote a whole story about it. About Mr. A finding the place. It's called Wonderburg. That's what they're hiding. Nothing wrong with being curious, she shrugged, looking up when the door opened. Oh, hi. Hey, Impulse said from behind. Scar turned, seeing its friend in the doorframe. Anything yet? No, not yet. Scar shook his head. I've been talking with Eliza the whole time. He paused, looking over at Green. I could sworn he saw a hint of a smile. Could he hear him? Maybe just talking around him is helping. Maybe, Impulse smiled. I could definitely ask Julius about that. Are you feeling better now, Eliza? Little, she smiled weakly. Because I just didn't think my first mission would be a spectacular failure. It wasn't, Scar said firmly, shaking his head. You slowed that man down. Alerted the boys of trouble. You bought Ellis time. Yeah? She tilted her head curiously. He's right, Impulse replied. If you hadn't intercepted when you did, you would have had the time to slip through that new tunnel and disappear. Stewart only showed up because of the rescue attempt. Her smile widened. Glad I was able to help them. She could have done more, though. There will be a lot more opportunities to do that, Scar mused with a chuckle. Campbell won't get up that easily. No, Impulse agreed. It's getting late. We should get ready for bed. Scar, I'll see you in the dream world tonight. You got it. Scar nodded with a grin, seeing the curious look on the girl's face. Anything I can do to help? She asked. Get some rest, Impulse suggested. If you don't want to sleep in the tower, that's fine. There's rooms here you can take. She nodded. I'll ask what Josh and Luke think first, but if you feel it'd be better, it would be, Scar said calmly. But remember, we have all the protectors here as well. Help is never far if we need it. Of course, she smiled. We're still learning. Maybe I could teach you the power of the hot guy tomorrow if you want, Scar offered encouragingly. Hot guy? She raised her eyebrow before grinning. I'd be happy to, Scar. Great. Impulse, do you think I should take the bed or a sleeping bag? Scar asked quickly. It'd be easier if you stayed in bed. In a bed. Now you don't have to ask for help. Impulse pointed out a spare bed just under the window. Thank you, Impulse. Scar beamed, seeing Eliza walk out of the room. I'm going to need you tonight for this one, probably. Seeing as last night didn't go so well. Count on it, buddy. Impulse grinned, crossing the room, patting the hermit on the shoulder. That's what I'm here for, after all. We're stronger as a team. That we are, Scar nodded in agreement, rolling over to the spare bed. Good night, Impulse. Same to you. Impulse winked, opening a chest, rummaging through it, pulling out a regen potion. He walked over to Korean, lifting his head gently, and the sleeping hermit taking the potion. There you go, that should help. You think so? Scar lifted himself from his chair onto the bed. We'll see, but it should help with the pain. Impulse smiled weakly, putting a hand on Korean's forehead. It's warm, but no fever. Are we sure they didn't infect him with anything? Scar frowned. I don't think that was their goal. Why would they plan to kidnap him and then poison him? Impulse frowned. It'd be a horrible way to die, Scar admitted before correcting himself. No, it is a horrible way to die. Impulse nodded solemnly. Can't take any chances anymore. Even with the security dock added, with the portable portals. Stop this. We have to. Scar lifted his chin confidently. Yeah. Impulse nodded, kneeling to pull back a nearby sleeping bag. I'll sleep next to Korean tonight, in case the nightmares get out of hand. Be careful. Scar smirked, seeing a magic smile on his friend's face, before crawling the rest of the way into the bed. He closed his eyes, willing himself to sleep, hearing distant footsteps followed by more footsteps. I don't need that phrase right there. That is perfectly fine. See? Sorry, spoilers. His friends were coming back from whatever adventures they'd been on. It'd been a long day. Hopefully tomorrow would bring better results. I'm going to end it there, even though you saw a little sneak peek of chapter 18. But that didn't spoil much, so you're fine. Anyway, that's going to be it. And be sure to let me know any of your theories down in the comments below and what you think will be happening next. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that may be.